Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, this is that day, this is that day that the Lord has made. The Lord has made. How are you, friends, around the world as you join us, as you join me? Let me share the page, 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 share the page to our friends around, our family and friends. A really awesome word tonight, this morning, I pray. Let me see. Right post. Share to my feed. Here we go. Join us. Do that with me, will you? Start a watch party if you want. And here we go. Boom. Okay. Share the page. Share the page. Love you guys. And as always, this is God's Day. Lisa Romsberg, good to see you, Lisa. Lisa and Dean just visited with us here recently, last week actually. Carmen, Dixon, awesome to see you, Carmen. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Carmen, woman of God, good to see you. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. The Lord has made. I will rejoice. Let me rejoice and be glad in it. Oh, good to see you, Mommy, my mom, Mrs. Deborah Sempewa. Good to see you from so far away, Uganda, in Africa. Good, Jeannie. Good to see you, Jeannie. Good to see you. Jacques and Rachel Phelps from Southern California. And Elizabeth Hara. The Haras are there too, our global Santa Barbara family. Elizabeth and Hannah and Elijah, oftentimes together or at around the same time. We get to see you two guys as well. Looking forward to seeing you, to visiting with you as we travel around the world, the country over the next 6-7 months. We'll be popping down to Santa Barbara as well. Yep. This is the day. This is the day the Lord has made. The Lord has made. I will rejoice. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And be glad in today. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Woo! Good to see. Good to see Missy from Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana. Hi, Missy. Hi, Sean. Sean Fitzgerald. Sean, where are you from? We'd love to properly introduce you, welcome you. And Christy, good to see you, Christy. Santa Barbara, good to see Christy. Next week, flying out to Orange County. Anna Weber, good to see you. Good to see you, Gina Walden, good to see you as well. So we're going to hang out with Christy. We're going to hang out with Gina and Brian, very old friends, just amazing friends that I haven't seen. Well, I haven't seen Brian in a long time. Actually, maybe 3 years, maybe 4, maybe 5. Actually, since the 300, when we just really haven't caught up yet. But looking forward to actually showcasing your story and just sharing it around the world. And I know that you guys are locking up. Lisa just sent me a little note that the state is locking up, locking down, but gross mass civil disobedience is happening right there as people really have to choose between protecting themselves from a virus that kills 0.02%. The overall average of people die. The survivability rate of COVID-19, all science agrees to this. The rate of morbidity or fatality is 99.8. 99.8, 99, okay, even if it's 99%. So people have a choice. They're thinking, okay, do I protect myself from a virus that has a 0.1% of killing me, or do I go, and by doing so, actually become bankrupted, can't feed my family, and all these illnesses, all these issues that come with being financially ruined, and they're deciding, no, sorry, I will risk it. Throughout the ages, throughout generations, and actually I heard some troubling bit of information. This is the first time that we're requiring or mandating lockdowns for a pandemic period. In the old days, even the very lethal, viruses, people didn't lock down. You worked, you protected yourself, you did what you did to feed your family as the disease ravaged through your community. That's what's happened throughout the centuries, but we're changing it. And so this is going to be really interesting what's going to happen. But I am coming. I am flying in because what we're doing is essential. We're going to be filming stories that will impact the country, impact millions of people around the world, and we're essential. We're essential. So we're getting all the exemptions necessary, and actually by being an educationist, I also do have those exemptions as an essential service. And I'm able to fly, but I'm praying for countries around the world, America at this point, which is really just so much is going on around the world. Actually, there's a lot more turmoil going on in certain places of the world, but there is no news cameras there. There's no news cameras there. They're not vocal. The nation is not that important, and so I mean, some countries are ravaged. The countries that just, for example, experienced the floods, they're devastated, and there are no news cameras. There were news items while the hurricane was going through, and we're talking about Peru and Belize and Nicaragua. Some of those countries, they're just the cameras have left. The devastation has remained. So we're praying for our brothers and sisters around the world, even those that don't know Jesus, that the Lord's hand shall rest upon us. So a bit more welcoming. Alex from Los Angeles, Alex Morashko. Alex, I'm going to be in Southern California next week. If you just can't inbox or message us, and you can join us. We're going to have actually a big service on Sunday. Should I say that? I care not. I'm ready to be arrested. Ooh, if I have to be. But the sheriffs are saying they're not going to arrest anybody for doing the needful this weekend. So June, good to see you, June, awesome. June from Houston, Pastor Protest. Really an apostolic leader over in northern Kenya. Good to see you here. Daktari, I am. Sean, you would have to see my I would, right, Sean, I'd have to see your face. Okay, we need to resist the devil. Yes, amen. I believe you. I believe it. Christy, militant Christy is a military girl, by the way. Christy Lozano. That's why she says we need to resist the devil, so he will flee. I resist his regulations. That's a militant girl right there, but military girl. But we're actually in one of the biggest deceptions that the enemy has just really just blanketed over the body of Christ is to delude us to think that this is just a happy thing. We're not at war. We're absolutely at war with the powers of darkness, and every person that gets saved is transformed. If you guys know kingdom warfare, it's crazy, it's brutal, it's your Bible says we have been translated from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of marvelous light. There's two kingdoms at war for your soul. Two kingdoms. And we are the emissaries of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So we get to do damage on his behalf in the earth. Boom. Okay. Star, good to see you, Star. And Juanito, Amaruchi, Cynthia, from where? Cynthia, where are you from? We'd like to introduce you properly. Juan Sanchez, of course, Juanito. What do you think if they try to force us to take the vaccine? Oh, Sean, I don't know, Sean. I may touch on that today. I don't know. If they try to force us, some people will take it, some people will. It depends on where you are. It will be. I don't think as Americans we can be forced to do something like that, but there are countries I can't. I'm not just speaking to Americans. There may be people here in countries where your government decides, look, we've spent $16 billion on this vaccine and everybody's taking it. This is not the first time that vaccinations have been performed en masse. Yellow fever, smallpox, very many cholera vaccinations have happened, and vaccinations, like him or not, I'm not a fan of vaccinations at all. But I know I've been on the other side, the beneficiary of mass vaccination while I was in Uganda, and I believe it saved lives because the vaccines helped at the time. I don't think that vaccine was loaded with the stuff that this vaccine is purportedly loaded with, but that's another subject for another platform. I know there's a lot. We're all winging it. Nobody knows. Winging it in terms of where we're going, we have not been. We don't know what's going to happen, where the future holds. But they've developed a vaccine that should be fairly safe, and a lot of people will take it. And come summer, we should have some mass herd immunity happening from a lot of people being vaccinated, and I suspect that we will be able to move forward. Now, I do also believe that because of historicity, what we've seen in history, the patterns have been that these vaccines have had side effects that the medical society, in all fairness, cannot completely predict. And this vaccine, unlike most others, usually they take 5 years to develop, because then you can watch people over 5 years. We don't have the benefit of that because it's a worse lesser of two evils. This pandemic is absolutely obliterating economies. The impact of shutdowns, the way the world has chosen to respond to this vaccine is worse. The virus is multiplied times much worse than the virus itself. And we're about to see that in Japan. The other day I heard, and I've got friends there, the death toll from suicides in Japan has 3 times surpassed the death toll from COVID-19. Because lock people up. Humans are meant to touch. We're made to connect. We're made to laugh at each other, hug each other, look into each other's eyes. This is not natural. This is not right. That we're all connecting this way. Seriously, this way. This is me checking in on my friend who is two doors down. You should see what's been happening in England, for example, the United Kingdom, where you're not allowed to go into a neighbor's house unless they're part of your bubble. They're calling them. It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, they'll probably try and say we can't travel overseas if we don't take it. They will probably say that, and we will see what happens then. I think I have a suspicion that the economies of the world actually right now, Rome, I heard Italy is losing so much money from people not coming to see the Colosseum and tourism. Some of these countries, some of these economies are completely shattered without Spain, shattered without tourism. So I think when a lot of us decide, okay, if we can't travel unless we take it, we'll wait on it. I think the money, the cash, the money will start to dictate what policies become law or rules. Then let's watch. We're really into very interesting territory, completely uncharted. But can we get into what God has put on my heart for us to share today? Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Sean, for engaging here. And maybe I'll take a question or two in the future as well, like that, you know. Again, I'm never a know-it-all person. I can't be. It's stupid to even claim to be, because we all haven't been in the future. We've got history to look at, but history does not necessarily repeat itself exactly the same way. Because, you know, there's a little bit of a British saying that we learned when we were younger, that history repeats itself. History repeats, not all the time, not all the time. There've been tyrants, there've been power brokers, there's been patterns that we see every time humans do certain things happen. That will hold true even now. But the exact the picture, though, what history really, what 2021 really looks like, we don't know. Who could have ever guessed in October 2020 October 2019 that 2020 will look like this? Who could have ever guessed New Year's Eve 2020 that the year would end as it's going to end? Who could have ever guessed? That's why it makes sense. It makes sense to trust the only person, quote unquote person, is not a person, it's God, who has been in our tomorrow. Because remember, He's the beginning and the end. That's a big thought, isn't it? He is the beginning and the end. He is the end. Bible says also, He knows the end of a matter before it even begins. So before we begin 2021, God knows how it's going to end. And so that's why it is absurd to think that trusting Him, you know, isn't the way to go. We got to trust Him. He's the only one we can trust, because it's being in our tomorrow. Does that mean that tomorrow's going to be smooth sailing? Doesn't mean. He never promises that. But He said He'll be with us. I'll be with you even to the end of the age. That's what He says. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. Good to see you, Kolawole. No, Kolawole. Kolawole. Looks like a Nigerian name. Oh, good to see you. Sonia Bennett from Belize. Good to see you. We just talked about Belize, Sonia. Janine Henning, good to see you as well. Let us pray. Jesus, please give us ears to hear your word and to be transformed by it in the name of Jesus. Amen. I'm going to talk to you about the salt of the earth. One of the things that Jesus actually calls us. He calls us salt, He calls us light, and a few other things, but He calls us sheep. But this is one of the things that He says you and I are. As we who believe in Him, He says we are salt. I am salt. Matthew 5:13. We are, you are. He says to his beloveds, He said, beloveds, you are the salt of the earth. Now, in ancient times, these guys knew what He meant. Salt, in fact, has been in ancient times even more valuable than gold. Gold was prettier, but you couldn't live without salt. In fact, salt was used. In fact, the salt was used as currency. The word salary, did you know this? Comes from the Latin word for salt. Salt was used now and has been used. Number one, 6 functions: to preserve bacon, ham, pickles. You know, in Africa, where I grew up, we didn't have refrigeration. That was everywhere. So you catch a fish and you salt it to preserve it from getting bacteria. It kills bacteria. Salt kills bacteria. So number one, salt preserves. That's what you're called to do, to preserve. You're called, you are preserver. Amen. You are. Number 2, purifies. Salt purifies. It resists decay. Repels slugs in gardens. You have a little garden. Salt petals, salt agents are put in in these disseminants, and you disseminate, and it resists decay, repels slugs. Salt does. Salt heals open wound many times. I remember having a cut from playing or something, and or plucking chicken or whatever. I remember being hurt, and I remember mommy saying, "Okay, just close your eyes. You're gonna be good. Here, ready. Put some salt in it. You go, it hurts, but it burns, but it cleanses wounds. It heals. We gargle salt for sore throats, don't we? Salt also melts. I remember my first time I saw a salt truck. It was in Chicago. It had snowed, and I was like, whoa. So, and of course, it was iced up. I loved to see it, but I just didn't feel good when driving in it and feeling the car go bzz, bzz. I was like, oh my God. Then I remember the first time I saw this truck in front of us pouring stuff out. And I'm thinking sand because I noticed that the roads were clear, and I couldn't quite understand it until they explained to me that, oh no, that's a salt truck. I said, salt. First thing, of course, I'm thinking, these Americans are so rich. They just salt, because salt in an African village. In Africa, salt is an essential commodity. You don't have salt. Actually brought salt here. You don't have salt like this all over the place. And I remember salt, cooking oil, salt, sugar, cooking oil, soap. We used to wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. to line up at the local grocery store or the local supply store for highly rationed salt, because there wasn't enough in the country. So different shopkeepers would get the small portions, and we would line up. I remember that 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. before dawn. So you want to be number 8 before they run out. Salt. Didn't know that it actually melts. Salt melts. Salt energizes. Bath salts, energy. So even salt energy. Salt also seasons. It adds flavor. Now, listen to Colossians, Paul's words to the Colossian brothers and sisters. Colossians 4:6, let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer everyone. Seasoned with salt. Paul is saying that your speech, the way you talk, let it be seasoned with, always be with grace, seasoned with salt. Seasoned with salt. There is a thing here in America that I really just found here. Every community has its village rules, I say. So the village rules, this American village, they had, when I got around this village, they had this exaggerated perception of the need to get things off my chest. Remember that phrase? Of course, it was very different in Africa. My culture, actually, it's the opposite. It's not good. It's not good at all. We keep things bottled in, and sometimes to our hurt. In fact, many times to our hurt. We're more of my culture, the Baganda, are more avoidant. We tend to see things, but not ask things, not talk about things, invariably setting ourselves up for ambushes, because the more you see a thing, I've talked to wives who know their husbands are cheating on them, but they don't know how to bring it up. They don't want to bring it up, because we don't bring things up, because we don't talk about things. Of course, explosions happen when you don't talk about things. The antithesis, the other side of it, is this idea that I must talk about everything I feel. That's also wrong. There's some things that you don't need to talk about. You don't need to have an opinion about everything. So before we talk about speech having grace, let's talk about the need for silence, quiet, pondering, lost arts, aren't they? In this world of this, where everything I feel, I think, I've got a post about it. What if I say that we start to become liberated, or we grab the opportunity for liberation from what I call opinionitis? This compunction to have an opinion about everything. What if you don't have to opinionate? What if we don't need to know what you think about the election? What if we don't? Now, that's very antithetical to an American and a Western person, because I need to get things off my chest. I've seen people be grotesquely rude because they need to get things off their chests. You don't have to tell them that they don't match. You don't have to ask them. If somebody said to me, if you compliment, for example, hey, that's a nice dress, that's enough. You don't have to say, where did you buy it? How much did it cost? How much did it cost you? Just what if speech with grace? That's what it means. Don't make the other person comfortable. What if you got it? I don't have to publish. That's the first time. One of the things that I also saw, it was really bizarre. And I think I'm going to write a book about this, my journey, my perspective as an African coming into a Western culture, and the things that I saw that are different, that I wouldn't call wrong, but I didn't think were beneficial or are beneficial. Now, of course, if you're listening to me from India and some of these other countries, you're probably thinking, whoa, whoa. Now you got your problems too. I'm talking from this perspective. So I'm not suggesting Americans are really, or the Westerners have a problem. I've got a bigger problem than this other. No. Like I told you, my culture and the Asian culture in a large way are more avoidant. They don't talk about stuff. So stuff foments, and that's why Japan, for example, has the highest teenage suicide rate in the world. Because all these kids, 17, 18, who just totally want to say, especially the more they're exposed to this, YouTube, where everybody's saying what they feel, they can't say what they feel. So they bottle it up. And oftentimes the enemy then finds a way to tell them, best thing to do is to kill yourself. Because life's not worth living. You could never talk to your dad about that. So again, I go back to, okay, first of all, what two parts consider as especially the holidays are coming. That's why I want to talk about this. Holidays are here. Your speech that perhaps sometimes the best answer is not to answer, is a non-answer. Sometimes the most helpful answer is to say, I don't know what I want to think. What do you think about the lockdowns? I think they're crazy, but yeah, I don't know. And how about that? Now, you won't be as interesting. You're not going to be as interesting if you don't opine about everything. But there's such liberty, there's such liberation in I don't have to have an opinion. Doctor, I get asked a lot, Dr. Dennis, what do you think about Dr. Fauci? He's trying. I think there's issues. I think obviously he says this and then he says that. I wonder what's driving his public face. I wonder what's behind his perceptions or opinions. Because to me, that's it. Is that it? Yeah. Because honestly, I don't have a lot else to add. Because do you really? Do you? What opinion, for example, do you have on what's this platform? Climate change. What do you think about climate change? I don't know. It's pretty sunny. And I think winter is coming, like it's always come. Summer is coming. It's a little warmer. Yeah, there's more fires, so it's probably something to it. Because you're not an environmentalist. You don't have that PhD to really intelligently opine. Hello? Right? You don't. Neither do I. Oh, Dr. Dennis, what do you think about stem cell research? I really don't know. Ethically, it might be challenging, but that's all. I don't know. The freedom to not have an opinion. I love it. I love it. I love it. Can we please start to love that? Freedom to not have an opinion. Especially today. Because most of the opinions you have are really endless, empty chatter. They mean nothing. In fact, the more you opinionate about something negatively, the more your spirit is hearing it. And now you're working yourself into a frenzy, into a panic, into an anxiety. The more you opinionate about things you can't even control. So Paul is saying, let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt. It's going to add something. You're not going to say something that's useful. It's best not to say. You don't have to get things off your chest just for the sake of it. You don't have the right to, because you don't live alone, because you're not talking to a mirror. You're talking to another human being who's probably going to take what you say and it may hurt him or her. Do you really want that? Do you really want to make your point today, but completely oblivious to the fact that that point you're making, the way you're making that point, is going to hurt this person for 2 days or for several years? Servant girl sees Peter by the fire. Jesus has been arrested yesterday or last night, and Peter is like really in this like shock, and the servant girl sees Peter and says, "You were with Jesus of Nazareth." Peter says, "Wait. No, I wasn't." The girl again tells those who are around, "This is one of them. This is one of them." Bible says, but he denied it again. And a little later, those who stood by Peter said, "Surely you are one of them, for you are a Galilean, and your speech shows it." So to convince his accusers, verse 71, in the book of Mark, I think Mark 14, I think 14. I don't know what chapter actually. 71. Bible says, Peter, he began to curse and swear, saying, "I don't know this man of whom you speak." Guess what? It worked. They didn't kill him. They let him alone because his speech started to reflect that he wasn't one of the Jesus people. He distorted his speech to sound different. They were saying, you are a Galilean. You're one of them. Your speech shows it. He says, no, I'm not. And I'll show you that I'm not. Spews, whatever. We don't know what it looks like. And we can only imagine, right? And they leave him. He's, he doesn't sound like them anymore. Friends, Ephesians 4:29, Message Bible, watch the way you talk. Let nothing foul or dirty come out your mouth. Say only what helps, each word a gift. The Amplified Bible says, let no foul or polluting language, no evil word, no unwholesome or worthless talk ever come out of your mouth, but only such speech as is good and beneficial to the spiritual progress of others, as is fitting to the need and the occasion, that it may be a blessing and give grace to those who hear it. Friends, my speech must have flavor. This is very challenging. Some of us have this phrase, which I also learned here. Excuse my French, after dropping some F-bomb. A born-again Christian, dropping F-bombs. Okay, what is that? I hope you're not scandalized by me saying F-bombs. So funny how we over-Christianize sometimes. Christianize, which is, we have these niceties that we clothe ourselves around, become to be acceptable in this bubble, but completely unable to function in the real world. I've seen Christians cringing because somebody cussed. That's the world. You should cringe when somebody cusses in church, but you must never cringe when your cubicle mate or your workmate or your business partner cusses. That is the language of the world. That's how they get frustrated. It should bother you. Yes. If you go into a movie, however wonderful it is, the movie is full of cussing, it should trouble you. You don't need to be taught this, by the way. If you've got the Spirit of God inside of you, He's going to bother you. You cannot be... one thing, I get people cuss around me a lot because I'm in the world. I'm on planes. I'm outside. I don't live in my office, in my little bubble. I don't live in my nice Christianized home. No, my kids have experienced that. We talk openly about this. My kids, they know about F-bombs because some kids just drop them just to feel grown up. They're fellow friends at school. Our kids are not in Christian schools because we didn't want that. Because I saw what happens when kids are sheltered. I saw what happens because I've counseled one too many 19, 20-year-olds who have grown up in nice little Christian schools, and they've actually told me what happens in those Christian schools. The most appalling things that happen in those Christian schools. But the most important thing is they're unable to function in the real world because they get... And then the moment their defenses are breached, the kids go crazy. So we wanted our kids to be aware of what is really, to be functional. We're training our children to be functional in the crazy world out there, where there's cussing and just casual sex and all that. They know about all of that. You know about flirtations and all that. Young, however, we're training them, preparing them to function in that world. My point, though, is you as a believer, you must not contribute to the toxicity that's out there. Your word, your life should have flavor. You are salt. Matthew 5:13, ready? You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost its savor, there's a big one. Wherewith shall it be salted? Why should we use it, basically? It is thenceforth good for nothing to be cast out and to be trodden underfoot of men. Salt is good. Luke 14:34. Salt is good for seasoning. I just had some eggs and I needed my salt here, right, in my office. So salt, it was really good. My boiled egg doesn't taste as good without Mr. Salt. But if Mr. Salt here becomes like sand, if it's lost its flavor, what good is it? Jesus asks. And then Luke 14 takes it even further. It says, if it lost its flavor, how do you make it salty again? How do you make this salty again? How does salt lose its flavor? Okay. Salt loses flavor one of two ways. In order for sodium chloride, which makes salt, sodium chloride, there's a combination, it loses flavor. You must either do two things. One, take water and dilute it. So break down the chemical compound, so it will be like, it won't be as salty. So you salty. Dilute it. Or dilute. Dilute it. No, dilute. I prefer dilute. So, how do you dilute it? Or to dilute it, or take this salt and put sand in it. Okay? Two ways. One, take this salt, put water in it. It will lose its flavor. Number two, take this salt, put sand in it. Other stuff. What does that mean? What does Jesus say? What does that mean? You, me, Jesus people, salt. Hallelujah. We are salt. Dilute us, which means water us down. Yeah. You know what that looks like? It's like worship becoming just singing songs, Christian songs, reading the Bible, studying the Bible. We dilute it to little bites of devotional tidbits. So we lose this deep dive culture. Prayer, intercessory prayer is reduced to little snippets of confessionals. And we don't kneel down anymore because we don't have to. Yeah, because we don't have to. Where you don't even go to church anymore because you can kind of just get it. You can just get it wherever you are. You don't have to talk about Jesus because it makes people uncomfortable. So just water it down. Just call yourself a good person. Water it down. Where sermons, this is a sermon today, by the way. Old English, sermon. This is a sermon. This is a word from God that I'm presenting today. I'm preaching a sermon. I'm preaching. This is preaching. To preach is to announce. I am preaching. No. These days we don't call this preaching. We don't call this sermons. We call them little talks. And I'm encouraging people. Every Sunday I encourage people for an hour to encourage people. Just make him just give him something to think about for the week. Just give him a word of encouragement. Why, by the way, why have we reduced sermons to words of encouragement? Do you know how little encouragement we need? I'm sorry. This idea that there's a crisis of encouragement is grotesquely, just patently false. We need reproof. We need exhortation. We need to be challenged. We're too lazy. Oh, no. Don't talk about sin. That's watering it down. Because sin makes people uncomfortable. In fact, there are certain churches where, don't bring your Bible. You don't have to bring your Bible. We'll have all the scriptures up on those big, amazing HD screens. So, yeah, that's what you do. That's what we do on Sunday. We kind of gather. No, we come to church to worship, to praise God. Yeah, we give to God. We write checks. Why? Not because we're manipulated, because we love Jesus that much. If you love a girlfriend, you love your girlfriend, you spend. If you fall in love with a girl, look at a young man who's been saving all his little pennies. He falls in love, and his pennies, he's broke. Suddenly he's broke. What happened? Oh yeah, he's in love. Why? Because what you love, you give to. We don't need to be manipulated to give. We intense like that. If you really love God, it shows in you. Your accountant is going to know about it. For those of you who have got accountants, they're going to say, you're giving. Yeah. It's valuable to just give 10%. No, we have a building project, or we have an outreach, or I want to just support this family over there. Well, but it's kind of like, that's going to be like 40% of your revenues. Yeah, I know. Because I love Jesus. I'm intense like that. Salt. The other thing you can do with salt is to combine it with something else. Combine it with human ideology, with pop psychology, like what I'm doing right now. Yeah, some of there's thousands of congregations right now, where the pastor took a Zig Ziglar book or one of them, Minute Manager or whatever, and he's doing a series taken completely out of a success book, a secular success book, and then glaze it over with some scriptures, and it's a very inspirational message. Inspirational message? Inspiration? Is that all? I don't want to do this if that's all I'm doing. Thank God. I don't care. I'm not just doing that. Because I'm called to do more than inspire people. I'm called to challenge people. because what I give of the Word of God, because what I see in the Word of God is way more than inspiration. There is edification. There's also really like reproof. You're doing wrong. You're spending too much time watching TV. There's got to be a lot of, when you see throughout history, this is the first generation that really believes that God's primary message to us is to just, you're amazing. How ludicrous. You're amazing? God's going to speak to you today, and all He's going to say, all year is different ways to tell you how amazing you are, how He doesn't want to live without you. Oh, God, you should see the worship. I could get onto that. You didn't want heaven without me, so you came down for me. That is absolutely unscriptural. God isn't in need of us. This me-centricity blows me away. That's not the message today. But you know what? Humanism. It's humanism inside of salt. So, as the Lord starts to pour you, you got sand in you. You're not as salty. You're reduced to little epitaphs of nuggets of encouragement. Because that's what my pastor gives me I'm going to give you a nugget of encouragement for your co-workers during this COVID season. No. That's light. That's diluted saltiness. It's supposed to challenge, inspire. Yes, encourage. Yes, flavor. Flavoring means I leave you better, not leave you where you are, embellished by token phraseology. No, I leave you better. I leave you taste. I change what it looked like because I was there. Luke 14:35. Flavorless salt is good neither for the soil nor for the fertilizer. It is thrown away. Anyone who is willing to hear should listen and understand. Mark 9:50. Salt is good, but if the salt loses flavor, how will you season it? Have salt in yourselves and have peace with one another. Matthew 5:13, Message Bible. This is pretty cool. Let me tell you why you're here. You are here to be salt seasoning that brings out the God flavors of this earth. If you lose your saltiness, how will people taste godliness? You've lost your usefulness and will end up in the garbage. That's in Message Bible translation. So, friend, are you a preserver? Are you a purifier? Are you a healer? Are you a melter? Are you an energizer? Are you a seasoner? Do you add flavor? Do you make others thirsty? Because that's one of the other functions of salt. We make thirsty. When you are in your job, in that community, in your classroom, do people, by being around you, feel like, man, I wonder what it is with that person, with Jack, with Rachel, Jacques. Every time around Jacques, he just causes me to just, I don't want to smoke. I don't want to do that. I feel like uncomfortable cussing. I feel like I want to be a good person just for being around him. Because we make thirsty not for us, thirsty for God. A couple of smart statements, and then we just bring it home. I'm just going to give you these phrases, and then you're going to judge your own saltiness by these phrases. Are you ready? Here's the salt tester phrases. How's that? Isn't it strange how 2 hours seems so long when you're at church and yet really short when you're at the movies. It's like, I gotta go, what is it? It's going long. But you can sit and watch a stupid show, a stupid game for 2 hours and 45 minutes. No problem. It's more entertaining. Why? The movie is more, really, the bottom line is the movie is more interesting than time before the Lord. 2, isn't it strange that you can't find a word to say when you're praying, but you have no trouble chatting with friends for hours? Why? Because when you're with God, you don't have anything to tell him. Isn't it strange how difficult and boring it is to read one chapter of the Bible, but how easy it is to read 100 pages of a popular novel? Bottom line, why? Because the Bible is, I don't know, it's just clumsy. You kind of remember. Okay, remember. You know what I think about references. You don't need to remember exactly where it is. But many of you don't even know the stories that you've read because they don't. Somehow it does mistake. Somehow it doesn't. But you will remember a plot and a subplot and a subplot of a 300-page novel. You can tell me the whole thing, but you can't talk about Gideon. You don't know who Samson is. You have heard of him, but you don't know how he died. He was a real strong man. What else? I'm going to ask you, who's Delilah? Who's Rahab? Who's Rahab? Who is Isaiah? Do you remember him? What about Hosea? Okay, what about Hosea and that woman? Which woman? Oh boy. The prostitute. Which prostitute? Yeah. What about Joshua? How come Jonah is in the whale of his stomach? Yeah, Jonah, yeah, the guy that in the whale of a fish, yeah, in the whale of the fish's belly. But what else? I don't know. Bottom line, you know why? It's not as interesting. Saltiness. Isn't it strange how we want front row seats to concerts or games, but we'll do everything possible to sit on the last row, at the last row, in the last row in church? For games, you want to be right there. Church? No. I'm good. I'm good. This is how you do your service. The whole service, you're like this. Yeah. I think I get that. Yeah, I understand that. I'm just thinking about your foods. And what am I saying? Is it going to be In-N-Out burgers? Is it going to be pizza? Is it going to be spaghetti? Yes, but I haven't had pasta in a while. Hey, amen. Wow, this lighting, pretty cool. I wonder how much money they're going to raise here today. I wonder how much. Wow, the church. Yeah, church. Yeah, praise God. Let's pray. No wonder you want to see in the back. Saltiness. Isn't it strange how we need to know about a church event for 2 to 3 weeks before the day? So we put it in our schedule or agenda, but we can adjust it for another event. For other events, at short notice, even last minute. What are you doing tomorrow? I don't know. What is it? Yeah, I'm there. Good. But church, your pastor sends a bulletin or something and says, hey, we've got an event. I'm talking as though we're not locked up, okay, with COVID, because it's about to end. It will end soon. Some people are going to try to make it last, but it's over. COVID is coming to an end. Okay. And so someone took it to you like we can meet again. So you get this little flyer from your church or your friend who says, hey, there's this worship service that I think will be really cool. Can you come with me? Oh man, it's just like, I wish you told me last week. Yeah, but yesterday you said yes to an outing to go hang out with your friends at a bar. It is strange how difficult it is to learn a fact about God to share it with others, but how easy it is to learn, understand, and extend and repeat gossip. How difficult it is to learn about God, facts. You don't want to just repeat things you hear about God because I need to prove them. I need to make sure that what pastor says really is scriptural. Yeah, well, but yet when you hear gossip, you don't necessarily double check it, do you? Conspiracy theory? Oh no, you forward right away. I'm gonna retweet or repost this without checking it. But a truth that you hear, a God truth, I need to hear some more. I need to check it out. I don't know what the difference is. Isn't it strange? I think it's a measure of your saltiness. You know, I'd rather be mistaken about a divine truth than shamed concerning a false conspiracy or a false rumor about something that really isn't happening. That's I'd rather be wrong about spreading the fact that, oh, if you pray like this, it works. I'd rather spread that, risk being wrong there than risk being wrong spreading some, there's nanoparticles in these vaccines. You don't know that. But you heartily spread that. Like, you don't want to take the vaccine because it's got A, B, C, D, E. Because I read it on some site by some Welsh professor. Or a friend said it to me. So it must be. I'm not saying let's go crazy. But I'm saying, isn't it telling that you have no hesitancy repeating baseless phenomena or baseless, jargon, rhetoric, but yet you become so facts driven when it comes to God stuff. I'm about to end. It is strange how we believe everything the media says, but question the Bible. Same one, right? Number 2. Now, almost. This is the last one. Isn't it strange how a $20 bill seems like such a large amount of money when you put it in an offering? You're so proud that you, instead of taking your $1 bill, you pulled out a 20 and you're like, oh, okay, sure. Or you're writing a check and you put, instead of $20, you put $200. You're like, oh. It seems so like, Lord, I'm really going to bless you right now. Yet, go shopping to your favorite mall and $200 is nothing. Why? Is it because you're buying yourself a jacket? Is it because you can touch that pair of shoes? Why? How come? Saltiness. One last scripture, then I'm done. 1 Peter 2:12. New Living Translation. Be careful how you live among your unbelieving neighbors. Even if they accuse you of doing wrong, they will see your honorable behavior and they will believe and give honor to God when it comes to judge the world. Friends, holidays are coming. Okay? Holidays are coming. They're here. You're going to get with, if you haven't gotten already, last week for my American audience or listeners or followers or whatever, those who are listening from the US, you've had Thanksgiving and you kind of if you were not in one of those states where they forbade you from going to hang out with your family, but you were there and you're like, oh gosh, and Christmas is coming up. You're already regretful about what you said on Thanksgiving because maybe you got drunk, which you shouldn't have. The Bible says alcohol is a mocker. Yeah, but what about food? Food is not a mocker. Food doesn't cause you to lose your judgment. Alcohol does. If I had feedback platforms, I bet you many of you would be upset by that statement, but I don't care. And I don't read that sort of feedback because it is the word of God. Wine is a mocker. People, there's more babies who shouldn't have been born, more people who were fired, and people who you shouldn't have said half the things you've said. Most of the things you regret, those of you who drink habitually and get drunk, you know you said some of those things because you were drunk, and drunk alcohol reduces judgment. You slept with more people, those of you in the world. I'm hearing from my friends who were in the world who drank a lot. They'd say, you know, it reduces your inhibitions, and you're able to just say, yeah, sure, I want to kiss you too. And then in the morning you're like, oh, why did I do that? Because your judgment is altered. That's what it does. Oh man, you're talking about my cussing. You're talking about my alcoholism. Yeah. Yes. I glanced here and Lisa Haney says, I love that you're talking about the alcohol. Yes, all those full of fire. Yeah. Alcohol. It's almost taboo because it's a social grace. Alcohol. You have a little wine, but no one really knows when you get inebriated. Well, it's after 2 glasses. No, no. I think it's 3. No, he's got a strong head. Yeah, he's not staggering, but his judgment is impaired. Okay, Dennis, how do you know? Again, we are the first society. This culture, this society, we're doomed. We're doomed. Sorry to sound so Old Testament. We're doomed by our arrogance. We're so arrogant that we think we can rewrite thousands of years of history. These things I'm talking about, they're not profound at all. They've been here before we got here. But somehow our generation is deluded to think that we can rewrite timeless truths. So you're going to be with your family. Christmas is coming. Some of you are like, you're heaving already. Let me suggest something for some of you. Maybe you shouldn't go. But we always go for Christmas. Yeah, you go for Christmas, but do you notice that you're irritated about Christmas conversations well into March? Yes, but we're family. We're going to do family. We're Italians. I know. But how long are you going to carry the woundedness of that mean niece? Yeah, they're family. Family is everything. No, it's not. Oh, what can you do? You come for our alcohol, you came for alcohol, you came for our speech, our cussing, and now you told us we don't have to drink, and now you're saying we don't have to go for family gatherings. No, you don't. If this is the big one, right? It's a big one, and I'll talk about this again. Because we're gonna talk holidays, January 15th. So I'll explain a little bit more about. Let me just drop this as you're making plans right now. Perhaps you need to cancel some of those plans. Some of you need to cancel those plans because you will go. You're gonna eat a lot. You're gonna overeat, which is part of getting together. Which is one of the other things I want to talk to you about. Food and the merriment of it all is part of life. That's life. So do find people you enjoy and enjoy. But some of you don't have to go and be bashed. Really? I'm going to talk to you about this, and I'm going to unashamedly talk about this tradition of going and inserting yourself, sitting down with people that absolutely don't like you, but just so you fulfill some ritual, which it takes you. Some of us don't even recover from the damage, the emotional emotional landmines that you stepped on Christmas time until June. And then you dread, oh God, I just got over it. Oh my God, we got to do another one in 6 months. Yeah, stop. Danish, to be continued, okay? Oh man, that's gonna be bad, right? Some of you, after you get mad, I invite you to really think and then stop and listen to your spirit. Stop and listen. Okay. Flavor, you are salt. You are salt. Will you be salt of the earth? Let's pray. Jesus, thank you for this really should maybe they're considered difficult words, but I don't feel any difficulty sharing these words. Perhaps it's because I don't really care. I think it's the least if somebody thinks ill of me because of these words, Lord. My predecessors have been killed for these words, so and a bad attitude, a bad remark, a bad post, a criticism. But Lord, it is for a few here that need this. It's for those people that today I opened my mouth and they've heard me. I pray you challenge us to be the salt of the earth. Some of us who need to have extra guard on our lips, who have reflexively cuss, who just like it's just part of me. I pray deliverance. Those of us who abuse alcohol because we love the taste of the wine, but we don't know when to stop, and it's becoming an issue, Lord, that they stop. They just stop in Jesus' name. Set free men, women here from this craving, ravenous need to be liked. May we be free to live as pleasing vessels to you. May we live like we're living for the audience of one, the man Jesus Christ. Amen. Boom! Awesome. Thank you for being here. We've got a Bible college that I must tell you about because so many people are being blessed. In fact, we've got a bunch of our students here. It's a fully accredited Bible college, and I want you to just take time to go there. It's called the 300.com. Some of you who are listening to me actually belong in our Bible college. You can start right now with open enrollment, people being trained. We've got as young as 14 years old as 80 years old. We've got doctors, professors, and doctors, lawyers, business people, very, very uppity actors, whatever, artists, upscale, the ins, the up and ins, and then we've also got the lowly, the normal, the regular, the us's. We've got the us's too, the people who are just us, normal, regular people there who are just, business. You have the little store, you have your homemakers. We've got homemakers. We've got bus drivers, truck drivers. Although they're blue collar people, we've got people in industry. We've got pastors, bishops as well. So do come. We want you to join us and let's adventure together. It's very inexpensive, and we're working every day. I'm challenging our team. How can we make this cheaper? You know what? I have in. I'll tell you a little secret. In my head, I really want this to be free. Dennis, you can't say that. I want it to be free. How do I make it free? That's my quest, because I want it to give it away. It's not free right now, but we're getting there. We're getting there. If you're in Uganda, for example, Kenya, it's like $5 a month. If you're in America or Canada, it's $100 a month. And of course, this education here, it could be as much as $12,000 a month. It's what we're offering for $100 a month could be $1,200 a year, $12,000 a year, a regular college. I mean, it's all subsidized, and we're just wanting to just train and release ministers for Jesus. So please go check it out. Jakina says, I love my Bible college. Yeah. Yes. Please do check us out, the300.com. Lisa, Dean of Students, has actually posted right there in your thread. You can see the300.com, and just go there. And we also want to touch about next year. Those in America, we're going on a tour. We've booked 13 cities so far, and we think another 10 or 20 are going to come. So we're going to just tour America a lot. And when the world opens up, the other side of the world, we're going to be in Brazil, in Israel. We're going to be in Venezuela. We're gonna have, of course, as well as Nigeria and some of the countries where we already go. We have got hubs in 26 countries where we go regularly, except in 2020. Of course, in 2020. So I'm sure we'll see you at a certain point, if you do join us, as part of this is like a church community. A church community. Ekklesia has become a church community, and Ekklesia simply means the called out ones. And so do hang out with us every Sunday. I'm going to be in California this coming week, and I'll be at Good News on Sunday, Good News Center, and we're having, Pastor Frank is here as well. They're going to be joining us as well. So Kingdom Living and Good News. All everybody's going to be a Good News Center. We're going to just have a glorious Jesus time. And so if you're in the area, do pop down and visit with us, and we're going to break some rules there, I think. But we're also responsible as well. So we're all grown ups, aren't we? We know the dangers of all those things, and we choose though to obey Hebrews 10:25. Do not forsake. They're coming together. They assemble. This is an instruction to the church. Paul says, "Do not forsake the coming together as believers." Now, we're also going to take this conviction that I have for the Church of Jesus and the Great Commission. I'm going to take it around the country for such a time as this. So there's a flyer that's going to be also available at a certain point. It's actually right here. I'm going to have it posted right after this as well. So love you ever so much. Why don't we, in our usual tradition, why don't we all type I am salt. Boom. I am salt. Can we do that? I am salt. I am salt. I am salt. I am salt. Can we type that? I am salt. I am the salt of the earth. I am salt. I am seasoning and a purifier. I am salt. I am salt. Yes, Lisa, I am salt. I am salt. Yes, Jacques, I am salt. Yes, Rachel, I am salt. Yes, June, I am salt. Can't wait to see you, June, in Houston when we come there. Can't wait to see you, June. I am salt. I season, I heal, I flavor, I preserve, I add value, I make thirsty. Come on, Pastor Portis. Yes, I am salt. Pastor Portis, see you. I am salt. I am salt. I am salt. I am the salt of the earth. I am the salt of the earth. Hold on. I think, Natalie, I am salt. Natalie in Switzerland. Natalie, I am salt. My mom, Deborah Sempewa, I am salt. Sonia in Belize, I am salt. I am salt. Come on. Let's keep it coming. Christy, I am salt. Elizabeth, I add value. I am salt. Sonia, I am salt. I am seasoning. Yes, you are, woman of God. Elizabeth, I am salt. Yes, not sly. Salt. You are salt. You are salt. I am salt. I am the salt of the earth. So let's add flavor wherever we go. Let's determine that, you know what, when people are around me, they're going to be better for it. You know, Robert, yes, Hendershot. I love that name, Hendershot. Robert Hendershot. I am salt. Robert, where are you from, Robert? Gianna, I am salt. I am the salt of the earth. I am the salt of the earth. Yes, a few more. I'll hang out a little bit more, a bit longer. I am the salt of the earth. I am the salt. We're salt. We're salt. We're salt. We're salt. One more. Okay. I can let you go. All right. Please have great services today. If you're still going out to a physical church somewhere, enjoy. Juanito, I am salt. Juan Chan Sanchez, and I am salt. Love you all so very much. I want to see you here, Robert. Robert from Southern California. Robert, we're coming over this week. Maybe we'll see you, Robert. That'd be great if you can come out to Riverside. Here on Sunday, we're starting a series called Doing Worship on True Jesus Culture. Amazing. We're going to have our very own the Elstones, and we're going to have people who are singers and people who are even not. What is worship? What is worship as we get into the holiday season? What is worship? And so let's enjoy. Let's have a good time. And we'll see you then. And then we'll see you, of course, here on this is Saturday, 11 a.m. around about now, and then Sunday as well. Thank you so much. May God richly, richly bless you. Bye.